All right, so we're going to do 12, 13, and 14 here. Um, and this process is we're factoring still, but it's a little bit different than the puzzle method because of how the problem is presented to us. So this says 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. Okay, so the process to factor this that I showed you on the video was the AC method. Okay, so I'm going to kind of talk through the AC method. So the AC method, I'm going to multiply A times C. Well, that gives me a -6. Once I get this number, now I go back to what we did before, which was the puzzle method. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to -6 and add to 5. So those numbers are +6 and -1. Now, when I write these out, I'm going to take these two values and I'm going to replace this middle term. So when I write these two numbers, I put an X after them. Okay. And then all I'm going to do is take these two numbers and I'm going to plug them in for this. I'm just replacing the 5 and putting 6x minus 1x, which equals 5. So I've got 2x squared. I'm going to rewrite it. Plus a 6x minus 1x, or just x, and then minus 3. So I'm going to have four different terms here. When I have four terms, I'm going to do what's called factor by grouping. I'm going to group the first two and group the second two. Once I have these grouped, I'm going to try to take a GCF out of each of these. So the GCF between 2x squared and 6x is a 2x. So I'm going to take a 2x out. When I say take a 2x out, that means I'm dividing each of these by 2x. So that leaves me with x, right? 2x squared divided by x is just x. And then 6x divided by 2x is a +3. Okay. Over here, you'll notice there's no x I can take out, and really there's no number. But the first term is negative, so I'm going to take out a -1. When I take out a -1, that means I'm dividing each of these by -1. So -x divided by -1 is x. -3 divided by -1 is a +3. This will always happen. These have to be the same, or I did something incorrect. So I'm going to write what's in parentheses once, x +3. And then whatever's on the outside, I'm going to group together. So whatever I took out as the GCFs, I'm going to group together. And again, all of this stuff that I wrote down is meaningless to my answer. My answer is x +3 times 2x minus 1. And again, why is that my answer? Because factoring is just writing this as the product of two different binomials. Well, if I multiply these together and FOIL this, x times 2x is 2x squared. X times -1 is minus x. 3 times 2x is a +6x. And then 3 times -1 is a -3. And when I combine my middle terms, I get 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. That's the original problem. So again, all of this stuff is now, it's not needed. I just need to type in my answer of x +3, 2x minus 1. X +3 and a 2x minus 1. That is the factored form. And again, why couldn't I do the puzzle method? Because there's a number in front of the x squared. So I'm going to go to the next problem. Again, same type of deal here, a little bit larger number. So I noticed this. I recognize. Review. We want it inking. What's going on here? There we go. Okay, so I've got 5x squared. A little bit different numbers here, so make sure that we are following along. So I've got 5x squared minus 22x minus 15. And again, unfortunately, your guys' numbers might be different, but that's okay. It's about you getting the process here. So I'm going to multiply a times c. 5 times -15 is -75. So now I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to -75 and add to 22. And again, I've got to go through this list. So if I don't know all the factors of 75, I've got to get out a calculator. But I see this and I'm thinking 25 and 3. So I'm going to put -25, +3. Again, 25 and 3 multiplies to -75. And I just add this x because I'm replacing the middle term. So I've got 5x squared minus 25x plus 3x minus a 15. So now that I've got the two terms that I replaced it with, I'm going to group the first two, group the last two. What's the GCF between 5x squared and minus 25x? Well, that's a 5x. So I'm going to divide each of these by 5x. That gives me x minus 5. And here I can take out a 3. So I'm going to take out a 3, and that leaves me with x minus 5. Notice, how do I know that I'm right? Because these are both the same. So I'm going to write x minus 5 and then 5x plus 3, and that is the factored form of 5x squared minus 22x minus 15. Okay. Notice how I group this plus sign and I put the plus. It's because I know that I'm going to take these two numbers and put them together. Okay. So it'd be x minus 5, 5x plus 3. We're going to go ahead and go to the next problem. This one is a little bit different because we want to try and make it easier. Um, so if you look at problem number, I think this is 14, right? Yeah, number 14. I guarantee that you can take a GCF out first. Those other problems, they didn't have anything in common at the very beginning. So if you look at this problem here, 3x squared minus 3x minus 60. I could go ahead and do the AC method, but I'm going to deal with large numbers. If you can take a GCF out at the beginning, do it. These are all divisible by 3. This gives me x squared minus x and then a minus 20. And then now, if you notice, I don't have a number in front of x squared now. I can do the puzzle method. What two numbers multiply to negative 20 and add to negative 1? Well, that would be x minus 5, x plus 4. So this is the factored form. 3 on the outside, and x, was it minus 4? Or x minus 5, x plus 4. X minus 5, x plus 4. And again, it doesn't matter what order these in. If you had x plus 4, x minus 5 last, it wouldn't be, it'd mark it right. Okay.